Welcome back. Here's the next project. I just picked this thing up. It is a 2007 Yamaha Grizzly 350 4x4, and you can see there's oil all over the engine. It's in rough shape. This might be the roughest thing I've bought to date. This might even be rougher than the 426 when I picked it up. It's got a winch on the front. The guy I bought it from says it doesn't work. Someone disconnected the wires, so I don't know if the winch actually works or not. Who knows? He said the lights work. I don't know. He did get it started and it barely ran, and he said he put a Chinese carb on it about a year ago and it ran good, and then this year now all of a sudden it's not running good. Well, that's what you get with Chinese carbs. You get about a year out of them. They're made out of that pop metal, and they don't handle gas very well. And unfortunately, I asked him if he had the factory carb, and he doesn't. He threw it away, so that sucks. Got a trailer hitch on it, which is good. The exhaust is really loud, and I don't think there's any baffles in it. It's not running. I mean, it barely ran. It didn't smoke, which is good. So I'm thinking that the rings are still good in it, and it's really hard to start. So I'm assuming the valves are way out of adjustment, and then when it does run, it's not running too good. So I'm hoping it's the valves. This thing needs a serious date with a pressure washer, which I'm going to do as soon as I get it off the trailer. The steering stem's a bit loose. That rack is bent down. It's not too difficult to fix. He said the four-wheel drive works. He's had it out in his woods. He's had this for a couple of years, and said he's used it in his yard. He never registered. It was registered in New Hampshire a couple of years ago. It was registered in Maine 2 years ago as well. So this is what we have. You guys want to know what I paid for this thing? I paid $600 for it. It does run barely. In my area, a 2007 four-wheel drive Grizzly, they go for anywhere between $3,000 to $3,500. So if I can get this thing going and get it looking half decent, I can stand to make a pretty good profit on this one. It's possible I may keep it. When I sold my Honda 420, I also sold my yard vehicle, and I have nothing to pull my trailer with right now. So this has a trailer hitch on it, so if I get it running decent, may keep it. We'll see. What I do like about it is it also has a pull start. It's electric start, but it also has a pull start, and it does work. So I mean, those are, I don't know why they don't put those on these four-wheel drive ATVs, because if you're out in the woods and your battery goes, you can still start it. So anyway, enough griping. So this is where we're at. Let me pull it off the trailer and pressure wash it up and see where we're at. Look too bad now. Cleaned up pretty good. A lot of this black paint on this side came off with the pressure washer. You can see here. I'm gonna strip it all off. I'm gonna get back to the blue. I'm not gonna do that. First I'm gonna get it running. I'll do all the cosmetic stuff later. I just want to get it running, driving, and pulling the trailer. So let me let's let this dry off for a minute. I'm gonna pull out the battery and put it on the charger real quick, and come back on once it's charged, and we'll see if we can get it to start. All right, battery's back in it. Let's see what happens here. She's cranking like she's low on compression. I'm assuming the valves are way out of whack. Let's try it. I pull the air filter out. Ever see one that bad? Wow. Alright. Let's hit it with some starting fluid. See if that does anything. Let me try the throttle. Well, she wants to run. It was running at the house I just got it from. This there's no gas. Let's check the gas. It's a full tank. Sometimes I've noticed that reserves don't work on some of these bikes, so let's try that. Well, we're getting something. Try another hit of this. See what happens. That's it. That's all we're gonna try. I don't want to kill the starter. I guess first thing is we gotta, if she wants to run, we gotta pull the inspection caps and check the valves, make sure the lash is right, and then obviously the carburetor. But I'm pretty sure that it's the valves. So let me shut you off here, and when we get set up, we'll try that. Got it all apart. It's there's a lot of lash there. I mean, I don't know, that's probably maybe 12 thousandths there. The spec is 2,000ths to 6 thousandths, I think. So I'm gonna go at 3 thousandths on the exhaust, and so it's 0.02 to 0.06 intake. Exhaust is 0.16 to 0.28. So I'm gonna go adjust these right now, and then let's see if we can start it. Valves are adjusted. Carburetor's got fuel in the bowl. Let's see if this thing will start now. See if it starts any easier. Oh, it does start. this thing's fighting me like I've never seen before. So I think the next step is let's do a compression test. See where we're at. I know the valves are in spec, so all right, let's see. Wide open throttle. Let me bring you guys a little closer. 120 psi, 121 psi. That's good compression. I think this carburetor is absolute junk. I'm gonna have to pull it, see what the heck's going on with that. Let me do that next. Well, it's the next day, and this thing's rough. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. It's really rough. I do need a yard machine, so I'll probably just keep it for that. I don't think I'll resell this. I'll probably just keep it as a yard machine. I might not even keep it inside. I don't know. The carburetor is junk. I fooled around with this thing for hours yesterday. Changed the jets, did everything. It just keeps dumping fuel into the motor. And I ordered a new one. That's a Chinese carb. Somebody had already taken the original, the OEM carb off and put this Chinese one on here. So I'm going to replace it with another Chinese carb, and hopefully that fixes the problem. I ordered that. It should be here tomorrow. I bought it on Amazon. 1-day delivery. I do have it running. I'm going to throw you in the stand. I want to check out and see if the transmission works in this thing. So the exhaust is really loud. I don't think there's any baffles in it. So you're probably not going to be able to hear me, but I just want to see if the transmission works and if the four-wheel drive works. So let's do that now. Try the four-wheel drive. So you'll hear when it starts to run out of gas, it'll run a lot better once it leans out. I can't get this carburetor to stop dumping fuel. Or not. Four wheels on the lift. So I got it running. I got it running enough so that I could move it back and forth. By just having the gas trickle out of the tank, and it gave it just enough so it didn't flood it out, so I could get it to go forward and reverse. It wasn't running pretty, but I was able to move it around and back it onto the lift. So it's on the lift. As you can see now, I pulled the front crash bar off with the winch and everything. I pulled all the wires out. The winch isn't working properly. The switch is missing. It needs to be rewired. I think this might be a wireless setup right here. I don't have the wireless key fob or anything like that, so I'm gonna have to delete that. That'll be in the next video. I'll do that tomorrow when I start videoing again. I'm calling it quits for today. I've been fooling around with this thing pretty much all day. I got the skid plate off the bottom. I noticed this thing has been leaking oil really bad. There was oil all over everything. I cleaned it all up pretty good, and it was leaving a spot down here on the cardboard. And I think it was the drain plug being loose, because it did take like a quarter turn, and it looked like it was, I don't know if you can see it right there, it looked like it was leaking out of that drain plug. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it was leaking from when it was running. I don't know. We'll find out. These are just the things that I got to fool around with on it. But the transmission works really good. It shifted into forward really nice. It went into reverse really nice. And I'm pretty happy about that. So the carburetor should be here tomorrow. And we'll get back at it. New carburetor came today. Take a look at this. What we got in here? Get the cover and a couple of other miscellaneous doodads. Came with a fuel filter. Alright. Let's throw that in there. See what we got here. So this is what I would call a Chinesium carburetor. It just feels cheap. But at this point, I really don't have a choice, because the carburetor that's on there is Chinese, and kind of stuck replacing it with another Chinese. I definitely wish I had the factory carb, but I don't, so I gotta make do with what I got. So I'm gonna go take the carb off the bike and then compare them. So that is a little bit different, isn't it? All right, let me go pull it off the bike and turn it back on. All right, here are the two carbs. They look pretty much the same. Not too much difference here. Outside of this one here, just doesn't run right. All right, so I'm going to, it's the same size. Yep. I'm gonna go put this on the bike right now, change out the choke mechanism, put a new spring in, the whole 9 yards, and see how it runs. All right, carburetor's in, choke's hooked up, throttle's hooked up. Let's go double check the throttle real quick. What kind of action we getting with that? Seems good. All right. Let's see if she fires up. She should run good now with a brand new carburetor. Well, that's nice. Set this up down a little bit. I think the idle's just a little bit too low. Bring it up a tad. Perfect. I definitely got to do something about this exhaust. It's way too loud. But this thing is purring like a kitten. Very nice. I'm happy with that. All right, I think at this point here now, I'm just gonna button up everything that has to do with the carburetor. I'm gonna put the tank back on. I'm gonna put the airbox back in, and just button everything up on the top side here, because I don't think we really need to get down inside there to do anything else. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna wait on that, and I'll tell you why. Because I need to wire the winch. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna put the tank back in, fasten this thing down, and see where we're at from there. Alright, so I have a battery hooked up to the positive and negative coming into the relay. I disconnected power relay. I disconnected the up down button or in out buttons, and this looks like a wireless remote. So those are disconnected. These two trigger the relay. I just want to double check. I got my meter out. Let's see if there's 12 volts going to the system. So I'm going to go on the ground and the positive. And oh, keep falling off. We have 12 volts. You guys can see that. So next, I know there's 12 volts going to it, so I know we're good there. Next, what I want to do is I'm going to take this wire right here, and let me pull you back a little bit. I'm going to take this wire with the alligator clips, and I am going to clip it on either side of this relay because it takes 12 volts to trip the relay. So I'm going to go on that side and we'll see what happens. So I can feel it clicking, but it's not engaging. Let's try the other side. So that tells me we got a bad relay. And let me take the positive off of this so we don't have any problems. So we got a bad relay, and we're gonna have to either buy a new one, take this one apart, and figure it out. So this ATV being the big turd that it is, I mean, this thing is a massive turd. I don't really want to put a ton of money into it. So I'm going to try to get this thing going on a budget as cheap as possible. And I am just basically going to use it to plow snow, and I don't care if it gets road salt on it and all that. I just don't care because it's a big turd anyway. And it's really not worth me putting the time and money into because I'm not going to get the return on investment. So I'm just going to get this thing to where it's reliable and working. So I think next what I'm going to do is I am going to try to take the relay apart, and it does have screws and stuff on it. So that's what I'm going to do next. So I'm looking at the rear brake here. It doesn't seem to do much, and it's really loose, kind of floppy. So let's dig into that. I got the side cover off, or the brake cover, and it just looks like it's just worn out. Really not much I can do about the play in that unless I want to invest in a new lever, which I do not. And as you can see, when I push down on it, I mean, that cable's not even moving. And I don't know if it's frozen, but it's definitely not moving. So I'll have to look at that, move to the back of the bike, and see what's going on there. All right, so looking at this, I hit it with some PB Blaster. And what I'm noticing already right straight away is that this does move. It's not returning. So there's a spring that's supposed to go in this hole here and probably connect to there, I am assuming, to give it a return. So what I am going to do is put a spring on that right now. I installed that spring right there, and if you see the pedal now, it actually feels like a brake pedal now. It's popping back up. It wasn't popping up before, so that's good. Now we just need to adjust it, and let me see if I can get some adjustment on that. I had to change out the spring to something with more tension. It wasn't pulling it back, and that could be inside the drum, but again, this thing's a beater, so I'm not taking the drum apart. But it feels like now it's not going all the way down to the footrest here. It's stopping above it. I feel like I have good, you can see that over there. Just bring it in here. So I think we're in good shape. That's handled. Let's move on to something else. I'm gonna attempt to try to quiet this thing down a little bit. I've got this mesh, and I think if I just put it in front there, it'll quiet it down quite a bit, because it's really thick mesh. So let's give it a try. You can hear how thick this is. Fit quite nicely right there. I'm just gonna make slots right up to the hole, because I'm not gonna try to drill this stuff. It's gonna be almost impossible. This is also stainless steel. Let's see, does everything line up? Everything lines up. I am going to go and put this on the bike, and we'll start it up and see if it's any quieter. I got the tip back on, and you can see the screen inside there. Let's see if it sounds any quieter. I have everything on the bike. Everything's looking good. Let's see how she starts. Turn the key on. Tail lights on. Fires right up. And if I have to say, that is a lot quieter than it was. I'll take that for a win. This motor's really quiet too. I don't know if you can hear that. It doesn't make any ticking, it doesn't have any top end noise or anything. This is a pretty tight motor. So I'm happy with that. Alright, lots more to do. Let's dig into something else. Alright, I've been fooling around with this winch for a little while, and I thought the relay was gone. It is not. This is disconnected. It was clicking. I took the relay apart. I did it off camera. I looked inside. It's not corroded. There's nothing wrong with it. So this looks like quite a contraption I got going here. But anyways, I got power. I got the power and the ground here, and they're going to the relay. And what the relay does is basically switches back and forth on the poles and reverses polarity, and that's how you get forward and reverse on the winch. And when you use a rocker panel, when you use a rocker switch, when you rock one way, it's in. When you rock the other way, it's out. That's what these two tabs. Let me show you real quick here. That's what these two tabs are, here and there. These are the in and out tabs. So what I'm doing is, and I got my multimeter, and I've been checking everything. So I have the in and out switch jumped, and what that does is you have power going up, which is this black wire here. No, I'm sorry. The red wire here goes up, feeds power. So it's coming off, actually it's this red wire right here, coming off the battery. It goes up to the switch, and then the switch, the rocker switch, basically feeds power to either one of these. So you need 12 volts in order to trip the relay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trip it right now. I'm going to hit the positive, and you can see that the winch is working. Now, if I switch this alligator clip the other way, and I hit power. And now goes the opposite way, which is pretty cool. So the relay is good, the winch is good. I ordered a new rocker switch for the dashboard, for the handlebars up there. It comes with the handlebar mount and everything, and the wire. I'm going to pull this wireless remote box out. I'm going to pull all these wires out, and the power wire right here, as you can see, is broken off. It's just the plastic is the only thing holding it on there. So I need to fix that power wire or get a new power wire. The ground wire has got a bad connection. It looks like it might be broken here too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace both those wires as well. And we'll go from there. Okay, I got the new in and out switch today from Amazon. It's got the handlebar mount. It's got the wires that go to the solenoid. So let's go to the bike and install this. So we'll start with removing the old in and out mount for the winch control. Got quite a mess on the floor of wires, so I trimmed everything out that I don't need anymore. This is the wireless on off from the fob, and that's your antenna, the green wire. Anyway, that's all off. I need to get a new power cord because the power cord has corrosion in it. If you can see that, all the white chalkiness in there. So the power cord, no good. And the long one was no good either. So I chopped the long one up into a few pieces, and I made a couple of new leads, put some ends on them. That's one. There's the other one. Now I know they're both red, but it doesn't matter. The original ground that went all the way to the battery, I hung on to it because it's still good. I think I can just replace one of the ends and we'll be fine. And it also gives me an idea of how long I need to make a new power line. So I'll go to the hardware store and get the red electrical cord laid up. But for now, we can wire this all up, test out the switch. So I got the switch mounted up here. Looks pretty good. On, off. It's mounted on there. I got it running through the wire harness hold downs on the steering stem area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop the wires back on here, hook the battery up, and see if the on-off switch works up at the handlebars. Alright, I got my new wire leads in. I have my wires coming down from the handlebars. I have my in and out here. And I have two wires going to the motor, positive and negative. And then I have my battery connected to the positive and negative here. And just to give you guys a quick, see if I can do this with one hand. We got 12 volts going to the solenoid. So let's see if this thing works. Let's hit the button. Looks like it works perfectly to me. Let's see. Out is this way, so it should unwind if I have it wired right. And it is winding. Alright, so that's very simple. All I have to do is just get this wire off here so we don't have any problems. All I have to do is just move these two wires to the other side. Switch them. I didn't put them on very hard. Very solid, I should say. This is pretty hard to do with one hand. But I didn't Didn't really put them on there very good, so they should come right off. All right, let's put the ground back on. All right, let's see if it's working the right way now. And this should be out. It is, and this should be in. Perfect. So it looks like the winch is all set. Now all I have to do is just put it back together. So I'm going to do that now. Actually, I can't put it back together because I have to get the power leads going to the battery. So that'll be next on the agenda, and then I'll put it back together, and then I'll show you guys the finished result. Yeah, it's been a few days since I've done any work on this, about a week actually. You can see how the door's closed in the garage. We're in the middle of a severe heat wave right now, and it's really hot outside. And it's actually cooler in here with the doors closed. I picked up some wire that I needed, positive lead, from the battery to go to the winch. I also picked up a few connectors. I ran out of connectors. Where I left off, I reestablished these, have these all ready to go. The hand controls are up and in. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to run this power lead. I'm going to put the connections on the ends, run the power lead. I am going to button up the crash bar, make sure the winch is all secure and everything. And once I get that done, I'll turn you back on. Crash bar is on. The winch is all in there. I just got to use a couple of tie downs to tie this stuff up out of the way. Most of it's cleaned up. I'll take the in and out. This is the out. This is the in. So, working beautifully. I just changed the oil in it and put the tank back on. The new carb's in. It's all tuned properly. The gas is on. See how easy this thing starts. That was with no choke. So it's running beautiful. I had a bit of a problem with this top mount, this top rack. It was really twisted. I think that this push bar here is bent. It looks like it's taken a few whacks in its life. This top screw right here, this one right here, was broke off. I had to drill it out and then retap it, put a screw in it. I want to make sure that this thing is solid to the frame because I might be winching with it. I'm definitely going to be doing other things. I'm thinking about putting a plow on it, and I just want to make sure that this thing isn't gonna pull off. So I got the rack over here in the vise. I didn't record any of this, but I used a standard bottle torch, and I put some heat on that, and I put some heat on that, and I got the rack pretty straight now. I mean, this end here was really dipped off this way, and it's pretty straight now. These back mounts here did not line up with the shock tower mount where they screw into. So I put heat on that, and as you can see there, I bent them. Hopefully pushed them back far enough that now I can get a screw in there. If I can't, I'm gonna get a Dremel and I'm gonna elongate these holes. But the rack is going back on. So that's next. Actually, what I'm gonna do first is clean it up, put a coat of paint on the areas that I put the heat so they don't rust. I'm not gonna paint the whole thing because this thing is just a big turd anyway. So that's what I'm gonna do next. And I got some other stuff that I want to do. I think I'm gonna put the plastics back on. I'm just gonna try to get a ride out of this today. So let me hit that with a wire brush, put the paint on it, reinstall it, put the plastics on, and we'll see where we are from there. Rack's back on. It's good and straight. Not too bad. This side here was really bent down. It must have rolled and landed on the side. It looks like the bars are a little bent. I don't really care about the bars. The rack is straight. I had to put a come along on here in order to get this screw in. But other than that, it's all set. One of the problems I've been finding on this quad is somebody just used whatever nuts and bolts they had laying around, because there's regular standard bolts in this thing that are screwed into metric threads. So a lot of the threaded holes are screwed up. I tried retapping them, but the screws are just stripping. So they're in there, they're holding in some of the spots. Normally I would drill them out and put a bigger screw in, but again, on this thing, it's just not worth it. I got the tank plastic back on, the tank is in, airbox is on. You can see the power wire for the ground and the positive for the winch are in. They're all tucked away nice, you can't see any of them. They're all zip tied in. They come down here, they're all in nice, everything's good. Everything's great, I'm happy. All right, let me put the rest of the plastics on. Oh, one other thing. I changed the oil in it as well. It took like 2.5 quarts. I still got to get a filter for it, but for now it's okay. I'll swap the filter out later. And I noticed down here on the floor, it's not leaking anymore, but the drain plug was leaking. And I tightened it. It wasn't really loose, but I snugged it up a little bit more. I let it sit for a couple more days. There was more oil on the floor. Easiest way to fix that problem, if your case is not cracked, is you take the brass washer and you sand it on a piece of sandpaper, both sides. This particular brass washer had nicks and gouges in it, so I sanded it smooth, put it back in, no more leak. Just a heads up to anyone who's got a leaky drain plug, that's the easiest way to fix it. Yeah, so other than that, let me finish putting the plastics back together on this and see if I can get it off the lift and take it for a ride. Well, that's it. The Grizzly's done. Came up pretty good for the big turd that it is. It runs decent. Everything works. I'm not going to complain for 600 bucks. I put probably, I don't know, 100 bucks into it with oil and wire for the winch and the new carburetor. So I got about 700 into it. Looks pretty good. So I think the next thing we should do is I'll take it for a quick ride in the woods, and we'll see what happens. Hard to drive with one hand. I guess scratch bar works. So that'll wrap this up on this for now. There'll be more videos to come. If you guys want to see me smash this thing on there, just picked this up today for 150 bucks. There's no plow mount or anything, there's no frame mount or anything like that, so I gotta weld something up, fabricate something, figure out how to attach it to this quad. If you guys want to see that project, obviously you gotta subscribe so you get notified when I post that video. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, I appreciate. I think I got 139 subscribers now, so I want to thank all 139 of you. and hopefully we can continue to grow the channel. Again, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.